Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Mark with Limo Marketer. Happy New Year. It's great to be in 21 with 2020 behind us. It was not kind to the world as a whole and to the transportation industry in particular. I think 2021 is going to be a good year. A lot of events that were canceled in 2020 will happen in 2021. And whenever you repress something, it typically comes back that much stronger. So very excited about this year. Today I want to talk about your options for marketing your limo business for you operators out there in 2021. And really there's really three main options that that get probably the most results that I've seen. And those are search engine optimization, Google Ads, or Facebook ads / Instagram ads. I kind of categorize them as the same thing because it's really the same company that you're working with, the same company you're paying for the ads. So let's start by kind of defining what they are, then talking about some benefits and drawbacks to each, and then finally, what I would recommend. So let's start with SEO. So SEO, those are the listings on Google that are in the map. There's usually 3 listings. They call it the map pack. It's right underneath the ads. And then right under that is the organic listings. So as far as benefits of SEO, there's a couple. Number one, there's intent. So what that means is someone is actively searching for your service. And so when you compare this to Facebook and Instagram or Snapchat or LinkedIn, people aren't actually actively searching for your service. And so if you get 100 leads on one of these other platforms, like LinkedIn or Facebook, and you get 100 leads from your website, from SEO, those leads you get from the SEO have a much higher chance of converting into customers right then than leads you get from these other platforms. So that's a big one, and Google Ads has that same benefit as well. Another huge benefit that is only with SEO is you're really building an asset. And so what I mean by that is when you start ranking a website, and let's say you work with an SEO company for 2 years, you get your website to the top 5 in Google in your market, and you're generating 150 to 250 leads a month from your website. If you stop doing SEO, you will still continue to get leads. Now, over time, that volume will drop off as your competitors who are likely doing SEO, as their sites rank better and better. But SEO is unique in that when you stop doing it, it's still kind of working for you because your rankings aren't going to drop the day after you stop running an SEO campaign. So this can be very valuable if you're planning on selling your business in a few years. That's going to be probably one of the most valuable assets in your business because a website that's generating several hundred leads a month, if you were to go to Google Ads and try to pay for those leads, you might spend $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a month for 200-300 leads a month. And so if your website's generating those, that makes it valuable, and so it's an asset. And that is probably the unique benefit that SEO has. Now, some drawbacks. The number one drawback to SEO is that it takes time. And this can be tough because one of the most important things is finding an agency that knows what they're doing and that is going to get you results. And here's why this is tough. If you're starting with a new website especially that's never had SEO done to it, and you hire a company and they sign you on for a 6-month agreement, which is pretty typical with SEO because it takes time to work. It might be 3 months before you start seeing any results. But if this company isn't good at what they do, and after 4, 5, 6 months, you're barely getting a few leads, at that point it becomes really tough because you're like, well, should I be getting better results by now? Is this typical? And it's really hard to say. And so that's probably the biggest drawback is even if you work with an agency that's very good at what they do, it can take them a few months for the leads to start coming in. And it can be tough psychologically, even when you know that it takes time, spending, $1,000 or $2,000 a month, month after month, wondering how much longer am I going to be investing in this until I start seeing results, and at what point am I going to switch agencies because I feel like my agency isn't getting the results I should be. So that's probably the biggest drawback to SEO. But if you're looking to be in the ground transportation business, or really any business, for several years, and you want to sell your business one day, or even if you don't, it's a great investment, because over time you will always get more leads for less money with SEO when we're looking at 3, 4, 5 years down the line. So next, let's talk about Google Ads. So benefits. It has intent as well, just like with SEO. Someone goes on Google and they're searching for a service, and so you have a much higher chance of closing those leads compared to a lead from Facebook. Probably the biggest benefit with Google Ads is it works right away. So from the moment you launch your campaign, your listing will be at, or should be at, the top of Google. And I guess I should have defined that. So Google Ads, those are the ads you see when you make a search query on Google. Right below the search bar, you'll see sometimes 1 to 4 ads. And then sometimes even you'll see an ad in the map area. That's Google Ads as well. And so the great thing about Google Ads is when you hire an agency to do Google Ads, pretty much from day one, you should be getting leads. You should be booking jobs in that first week. And so you start getting a return on your investment right away. And that's really a great thing, because you're not worried like you are with SEO. Is this working? Is this worth it? You can see pretty quickly. Now, Google Ads is somewhat like SEO in that in the very beginning, the first month, it's not going to be as good as it will be in the 3rd or 4th month. And what I mean by that is, let's pretend you're spending $1,000 a month on Google Ads. And let's say by month 6, you get 100 leads a month for that $1,000 a month. Well, in that first month, you might only get 50 leads. And then the second month might be 60, and then 70. So it's going to improve every month, but it starts working from day one, unlike SEO, where if your website is not ranked, from day one, you're not going to start getting leads. So that's the biggest benefit with Google Ads. Now, as far as drawbacks, it's expensive. And the truth is, it's very competitive. And so if you do not have everything really dialed in, and by dialed in, I mean you want to have your website dialed in, you want to have the Google Ads campaign dialed in, and what I mean by that is you don't want people that are searching for like a tow truck or a car detailing service calling you. If you're getting those calls, then your Google Ads campaign is set up incorrectly. But you also want to have someone who's good at sales, answering the phone calls and responding to clients. You also want to be doing follow-up. And then you even want to be doing some sort of ongoing nurture campaign. So for every lead you've ever gotten, sending them out some sort of promotion every 4 to 6 weeks via text or email. And so if any of these things aren't optimized, you're going to have not as good of results. You won't be getting as good of a return on your investment. And some of the things, like having a poor Google Ads campaign setup, can cause you to actually lose money. And that's why you'll hear some people say Google Ads doesn't work, because either their website wasn't set up correctly for it, or their Google Ads campaign wasn't set up right, or maybe they weren't answering their phone or following up. So those are all things you must have in place, because again, Google Ads is very competitive. It's expensive, but it works, and it works right away. So it can be very powerful. Another, big benefit that I missed was it's scalable. And what I mean by that is, if you're spending $1,000 a month, getting 100 leads a month, and out of those 100 leads, you're booking 20 jobs for, let's say, $200 a piece. So you're spending $1,000 in ads and you're booking $4,000 in business, which hopefully it would be better than that, but here's just an example. Let's say you want to double the amount of business you're getting. Well, you can just double your ad spend. So you can go from 1,000 to 2,000, and that should close to double or maybe even more than double the number of leads you're getting, which should double the amount of revenue you're booking. So it's scalable. Which brings me to Facebook ads. So Facebook ads, the main difference, and when I say Facebook, I mean Instagram as well. The main difference between Facebook ads and Instagram and Google ads and SEO is intent. So when people are on the platform, they are not searching to book a party bus or rent a limo. They're just really burning time scrolling through their feed. And so you have to market it differently. On Google ads, you can just have an ad and you don't even have to have like a special offer, like any sort of promotion going on. But with Facebook ads, because there's no intent behind it, you need to have some sort of an offer. And this might be $100 off a party bus rental that's 4 hours or more. Or it could be 20% off Monday through Thursday on your party bus. These are just some examples. What you can't do on Facebook ads and have it work is have an ad that says, book your limo or party bus today. Because again, people aren't on Facebook, they're not searching for your services like they are when they are on Google. So we have to be making an offer on Facebook. And so you can actually look at that, I guess, as somewhat of a drawback, because the offer is typically some sort of discount. Now with Facebook ads, a benefit would be, just like with Google ads, it starts working right away. And another benefit with Facebook ads is it's less expensive than Google ads. So you're going to get leads for less money than compared to Google ads, if it's set up correctly, that is, and you have a good offer and you're targeting the right audience. However, since there is no intent, if you have, as I was saying earlier, 100 leads from Google ads or SEO and 100 leads from Facebook, you might close only 5% of the leads you get from Facebook or 10% of the leads, whereas with Google ads or SEO, you can close 25 to 35% of the leads you get. And here's what you need to have with Facebook ads to really have it make sense, because while the lead cost is lower, your close rate's going to be lower as well. And this is why it is really important that not only you have the offer set up, but you also need to have some sort of ongoing nurture. You need to be contacting these people that, let's say the offer was download a coupon for $100 off. You need to have some sort of ongoing nurture sequence via text or email that reminds them maybe once a month, hey, you haven't claimed your coupon yet, claim your coupon for $100 off. Because what you'll find is, if you have a list of 100 leads from Facebook or 1,000 leads from Facebook, and you send them a message every month via text or email, you're going to get 1/12 of that list has some sort of special event, because everyone has a birthday, right? Once a year. So that whole list, if you contact them once a month, there's a 1/12 of that list will have a birthday or anniversary, lots of special events going on. And that's why it's so important when you do Facebook ads that you have an ongoing marketing campaign targeting those people that downloaded whatever your offer was. And so here's my recommendation for 2021 for you operators out there. If you're thinking about doing SEO, you really want to have money set aside for investing in SEO for the next 6 months without needing to get much money back. And so if you're not in that position, which I would also recommend you wanting to be in the ground transportation industry for the next few years and perhaps sell your business, but you're in it for the long haul and you've got some money to spend, then yes, SEO makes sense, but I wouldn't just do SEO. I would always combine SEO with Google ads, and ideally you would do all three. But look, most of you have a limited budget, especially coming out of 2020. So what I would recommend for most of you is Google Ads or Facebook ads. Now, if you're an operator who does sedans and SUVs and black car type service, Google Ads is typically going to be your best bet, because Facebook ads just tends to work better with events, because you can target people that have birthdays or anniversaries coming up, whereas vehicles like a stretch limo or a party bus are going to be much more common for those types of events. So if you've got the extra money, do SEO, but if you need immediate cash flow, Google Ads and Facebook ads / Instagram are definitely going to be your best bet in 2021. What if you only have $500 or $1,000 a month to spend? In that case, I would typically recommend Google Ads, because there's intent behind the search. It's just very important that you've got your sales on point and that you're following up with the leads you get. That's really the key. After doing hundreds and hundreds of Google Ads campaigns, I've noticed as long as you have the website and the Google Ads campaign set up correctly, then the other two keys are in the selling of, selling that prospect, and then also if they don't give you a yes or no, you need to follow up with them until they do, because we don't want to leave any money on the table. Google Ads, like I said, one of the drawbacks is it is expensive, but if you're doing your follow-up and you're doing a good job selling, and look, if you have to knock off $10 or $15 to get a $200 job, that's a decision that either you as the business owner who's taking these calls needs to be able to make on the phone. If you have an employee, a customer service representative that's doing the sales for you, they need to have the power to make those deals. Because right now, especially, people are looking for deals. Unfortunately, everyone knows the ground transportation industry has been hurt. And so many times people know that a lot of these operators out there are a little desperate. And so, they're looking for a deal. But that's just where we're at right now. So anyways, guys, I hope you really enjoyed this video. And so if you've got only $500 or $1,000 to spend, I'd highly recommend looking into Google Ads. If you've got more than that budget, you might want to combine that with Facebook ads. And if your budget's $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a month, you might want to start investing in SEO as well, especially if you see yourself in this industry for the next few years. So anyways, guys, I hope you have a great rest of your week, and thanks for watching.